It turns out that North Korea is trying to cut a deal with President Trump. You know that crazy President Trump, that threatening President Trump, that President Trump who just pulled out of the Iran deal? And North Korea is now trying to cut some sort of deal with President Trump. The latest evidence being that Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, a good Secretary of State, unlike John Kerry, is on his way to North Korea, and he is expected to return with 3 Americans detained in North Korea. Okay, 2 of the detainees, Tony Kim and Kim Hak-sung, have been held since 2017. The 3rd detainee, Dong-chul Kim, was arrested in October 2015 and sentenced to 10 years in prison with hard labor for espionage. Pompeo said he'd be meeting with senior North Korean leaders. He didn't know if he'd be meeting with Kim. He said, "We're prepared to meet with anyone who is speaking on behalf of the North Korean government and can give us solid answers, so we're prepared." I do have to say that the funniest part of this particular story is that 3rd detainee, Dong-chul Kim, right, he was arrested in October 2015. And he's presumably been held in solitary confinement. He's been held away from the world. Imagine his reaction when he arrives in the United States and is met on the tarmac by President Donald Trump, right? He has no idea that Trump is president. It's going to be amazing. He's going to get off the plane and Donald Trump's going to be like, "Hello, I'm the president now." And he's just going to be like, "What?" But that's the guy who freed him, right? Okay, that's the guy who got him free. And again, this is the entire point. All the foreign policy geniuses, all the diplomats, they said Donald Trump is going to blow up the world. Just like George W. Bush. They're all cowboys, all these cowboys. The only example in the recent past, maybe North Korea now, that'd be the other one. The only example in the recent past of a country voluntarily giving up its nuclear weapons would be Libya during the Bush administration. The reason they gave up their nuclear weapons is because George W. Bush invaded Iraq and took down Saddam Hussein, and the American military destroyed Saddam Hussein's military in 3 weeks. And Muammar Gaddafi said, "Oh boy, that's scary. What if I just hand over this yellow cake to you right now?" And the United States said, "All right, sure." It turns out that dictators who are scared operate in ways that are much more conducive to the American public interest than dictators who are emboldened. Do you think the Iran deal emboldened dictators, or do you think that the Iran deal made them more afraid of American military might? Do you think that it made them afraid of America's commitment, or do you think that it made them seek America's pusillanimous surrender? Pretty obvious which is which. Because if you were a country pursuing nuclear weapons, you would look at Iran and say, "Look, I'm going to pursue nuclear weapons as well, because Barack Obama will sign any deal with me. I can make any lie that I want. He will hand me any amount of money. And then in 10 years, I can do what I want anyway. So why the hell not?" Right? You think that North Korea wouldn't accept Obama's deal if Obama had put his deal on the table for North Korea? You think that North Korea wouldn't have said, "Listen, you lift all the sanctions, you give us hundreds of billions of dollars, and we'll promise, we'll cross our fingers and hope to die, we'll cross our hearts and hope to die, that we'll get rid of that nuclear program, Mr. President. Don't worry, we'll take care of it." Do you think that they wouldn't have accepted that deal? Of course they would have accepted that deal, and they would have been lying. They accepted the same deal from Clinton, they accepted the same deal from George W. Bush, and they would have accepted it from Obama anyway. Okay, but with Trump, they don't get to accept that deal, I hope. Right? We hope that President Trump is a stalwart with regard to North Korea, as he has been with regard to Iran. But it's pretty clear the North Koreans think that they're going to have to do something to please President Trump, which is the reason that they just released 3 North Koreans. Remember, the 3 American citizens from North Korea. Remember, that's 3 American citizens released from North Korea under President Trump. Remember that Otto Warmbier was killed in North Korea. President Trump was the president. President Obama was the president when Otto Warmbier was taken into custody in North Korea, and he did nothing. 0 things. None. Okay, Otto Warmbier was given back to the United States after he was effectively brain dead, only after Trump took office. So clearly there's a bit of a math change here. Trump has changed something. And you know that I'm not a guy who idly gives credit to President Trump, but he gets a lot of credit for what he just did on the Iran deal. And so far, what he's been doing on North Korea, it's showing results. Now, I'm still skeptical that something great comes out of it, but we will find out. At least his strategy is a lot better than President Obama's, "I'm going to surrender at the first available opportunity to anyone who shows adverse interest to the United States."